Good morning, grade 8. Okay. As per an update, okay, I had prepared an activity for you for today. That's concept analysis. For the concept analysis, okay, you are given questions, and the instruction here is enumerate and discuss the concept being asked in its question. Type your answers in the space provided. This is worth 20 points. And of course, this is part of your written works, activities, right? Under first module for second quarter, weeks 1 to 4. Okay. But we need to move forward simply because your um, examination, second periodical test is fast approaching. I think that's around 16, 17, and 18. So most probably this is next week, right? So what I want you to do now is I want you to do activity number 5 later, but we will discuss and start with Q2, module 2, weeks 5 to 8, right? That is why. So again, it's up to them if they will not join. It's okay with me. As long as you will give me a good grade. Is that a deal? Everybody? Are you still with me? Right. As long as you give me a good grade, you may opt not to join the online class. It's okay with me. But it's more okay if you will join online class and learn out of it, even ask questions out of it. It's really a big matter to me. Okay. Your grades matter to me. You are my outputs. Okay. Again, you are my outputs. Okay. Can you see my shared screen now?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you seen my post last time? It's all about grades. Okay. Grades are earned, not given. So therefore, you need to work hard for your grades. I don't really care if your parents get angry to me with regards to your grade, as long as you learn something out of it. Right? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Again, I'm doing this for you, not for my own self, because I know already the topic. Right? Hope you understand that I am doing an extra mile for you. Okay, grade 8, you are with me last school year, and you know already um, on how I actually generate your grades. I am just being honest towards you. Okay. Now, if you have questions with your grade, because the giving of grades is this 10, I think December 10. So if you have questions with your grade, questions with your um how these grades are being generated, you can always ask, right? You can always ask to me. But of course, you need to double check on your outputs, right? Typhoon. Let's move now to typhoon. Okay, knowing typhoons, it could be disastrous, meaning to say it can cause a lot of disasters. Typhoons also is a natural phenomenon. Okay, what makes it very intriguing is that because of these climatic changes, climate change, okay, typhoons evolve also into more this disastrous one, right? Because of human activity that causes global warming, that causes this climate change, because of the pollution that we humans are did actually created. So we created a lot of disaster also to these typhoons. Let's take a look at how these typhoons are created. Let's take a look at how we can actually prepare ourselves in that particular typhoon. Typhoon meaning, the Greek word typhoon means whirlwind, okay, and refers to the god who is also the monster and is personified as the father of wind. Typhoon has been in use since 1500s, including in records of ship voyages and to the East Indies. Okay, a typhoon is a powerful and large tropical cyclone. It's a cyclone, correct. It is a low pressure area that rotates counterclockwise and contains warm air that rises over forms of warm water. Okay, take a look at this one. It is a low pressure area. Okay, If it is a low pressure area, okay, tendency is it actually gathers a lot of warm water or warm air. So therefore, you are now creating, because this is circulating, it is still considered as a cyclone. But it depends upon on where did this cyclone started, okay? And their names, it depends upon where it actually begins, right? Typhoon can bring a terrible damage due to thunderstorm, this is terrestrial rain and flooding, violent winds, incredible and extremely high tides, and tidal surges. Okay, typhoon force wind can range from 25 mph, okay, miles per hour to 150 mph, miles per hour. Tropical storm winds can reach up to 300 mph or miles per hour. Typhoon by any other name still spins fast. That's because typhoon definition is same as the hurricane. It is the same, correct? Cyclone or tropical storm. Okay. The definition: a giant rotating system of clouds and storms characterized by low pressure, okay, and intensely strong winds. By the way, if you have questions, again, please let me know so that I can address your concerns. I appreciate more students that are asking questions. Why? Because in that sense, I can actually look into your questions, how you constructed your questions. This is part of your evaluation, by the way, how you constructed the questions, how these thoughts came into your mind, and how far have you gone into the lesson. Because I know the fact that you have your prior knowledge with typhoons. Okay? I think elementary days, we started already discussing this, and hopefully you can get some archives of information in your mind, right? The only difference in the naming comes from where in the world it originates, the one that I'm telling you, the same definition, okay? But their names differ only in the place where they originated, okay? A hurricane in Japan is actually called a typhoon. Why? Because the storm began in Western Pacific. If it is in Western Pacific, okay, it is considered as typhoon. Okay, the word hurricane is reserved for Atlantic and Eastern Pacific storms. Meanwhile, in Indian Ocean, hurricanes are also known as cyclones. Indian Ocean, cyclones. Eastern Pacific, it's hurricane. Western Pacific, it is typhoons. Okay, typhoon can grow to produce damaging winds, storm surges, and tidal waves. Terrestrial rain, flooding, and other major damage. This happens when the condition of warm tropical waters and relatively high moisture persist for a significant period of time. It means what? Evaporation. If evaporation is faster, therefore, there is a possibility of higher precipitation or rain. Okay? Again, if evaporation is faster, it now becomes humid. The area now becomes humid. In our dialect, it is alimuot. Okay? Because the moisture there is in the atmosphere. It covers the entire atmosphere. Therefore, it can actually cause what? Rain or precipitation. Okay? Because of this, most typhoons in the northern hemisphere occur in the summer and early fall months. In the Atlantic, hurricane season is officially from June 1 to November 30. However, that is no hard and fast rule, okay? As these storms sometimes occur earlier or later in the year too. Why? Remember that there is a climatic changes, or there are some climatic changes in our climate system. That's the reason behind. And you know already what causes this climate change, right? Due to the Earth's rotation and resulting weather patterns, most typhoons rotate counterclockwise in the northern hemisphere and clockwise in the southern hemisphere. Okay? Counterclockwise in the northern hemisphere and clockwise in the southern hemisphere. Okay? This is because of the Earth's rotation. Okay? Again, I don't want to see posts. I don't want to see also my students um talking about, or shall we say, engaging with thoughts that uh about rotation and revolution. Do not be confused with the terms, right? Can you hear me, everybody?
Yes.
All right. Talking about rotation, if a body is rotating, okay, it has its own axis. Okay. Rotation, in Earth's rotation, that's 24 hours. That's rotation. And revolution, okay, Earth's revolution is 365 days. Why? Because it is actually revolution, it is actually moving in the different body, or what, different body, or the system itself. It has its own system. Okay, that is the reason behind. So do not be confused with the term. Okay, this is science. You know science already, right? Science is specific. Science also is always changing or constantly changing, right? Land masses and bodies of water. Okay, what's with the land masses and bodies of water? They actually affect typhoon. How? Based on what or how strong the energy is released by the landforms and the bodies of water. Typhoons gain energy from warm ocean. If a typhoon passes through a body of water or ocean or Pacific Ocean, to be specific, it actually gains more energy because the evaporation there is faster, right? And lose energy over cold water. Interaction with the land will weaken the typhoon. Like if the typhoon passes through mountain hills, it will eventually weaken its system. Weaken in the sense that there is no water there. And again, typhoon needs water and pressure. That's the reason behind. So again, if it is passes to a body of water, just like this, it will create, or it will actually strengthen itself because the evaporation is faster, and tendency is, of course, if there is a lot of evaporation, there is also a lot of precipitation. That's the effect, the cause and effect. And if this typhoon passes through hillsides, mountainsides, it will actually weaken itself. Why? Because the source of water is not there. It cannot recharge its system. Instead, it will actually start its precipitation, and later on, it will just disintegrate. This is how nature works. Monsoon winds, amihan and abagat. By the way, this second module for the second quarter, this is included in your second periodical test, by the way. So please take note of the terminologies because, again, this will come out in your exam. Monsoon winds, amihan and abagat. This is common, correct? You can always hear amihan and habagat in any reports talking about typhoons, or talking about climate or climatic activity. Okay, what's the amihan and what's the habagat? Why do we need to know them? Okay, amihan and habagat refer to the two kinds of winds and season that occur in our country every year. Please consider, or please put in mind, that these are the two kinds of winds and seasons. So we are affected by this every now and then. That's the reason behind. Okay. The reason why we need to know them in order for us also to prepare ourselves if in case. Right? Amihan is known as the northeast monsoon, while Habagat is known as the southwest monsoon. Okay? Northeast monsoon is amihan, habagat is southwest monsoon. A monsoon is a seasonal rain and wind patterns. Monsoon is from Arabic word mausim, which means season. Okay? A switch in wind direction is primarily the indicator of change between one monsoon to another or to other. It usually takes place during nighttime. At some periods, two monsoons switch several times before settling to a pattern for a season, just like what we are actually having now. Sure, I thought this is Christmas season is cold, but then again, why there are some why so hot? What's the problem? This is now the switching of monsoons several times. There are a lot of patterns that changes all throughout time because of these climatic changes. That's the reason. Okay. Amihan is the Filipino term for northeast monsoon, which is a cold and dry northeast wind coming from Siberia and China and blows down to Southeast Asia. This season is characterized with a slight moderate rainfall and prevailing cold wind that affects east of the Philippines. The monsoon commonly occurs from October to late March, although occurrence may vary every year. Burr season. So if it is burr season, it is usually cold. Okay? It is usually cold. So we are now affected by hanging amihan. Okay? Because Christmas is coming over and again, this wind is from Siberia and China. Okay? And of course, we are affected by it. Okay? Even farmers are affected. If you're going to look at Baguio City, as of the moment, it's really cold there. That's the problem also with too much cold. Their crops also is affected. But too much hot also, we are also affected by it. Okay, a lot of, like for example, in this case, we are in the bare months, but if you're going to observe, there are a lot of diseases occurs because of the switches in different climatic conditions, switches in temperature. Okay, like the hand, foot, hand and mouth disease. Hand, foot, and mouth disease. Have you heard about this? This is actually disease that affects babies in their hand, in their foot, and in their mouth. Okay, this kind of virus actually strengthen itself when there are some switches. Take note, when there are some switches of climatic condition from hot going to cold and from cold going to hot. That's the reason. So we also are affected by this simply because our immune system will actually weaken if there are some changes, drastic changes. When you see drastic changes in the climatic condition or in the wind patterns or in the season, if it is drastic changes, our immune system will actually become slow. It will low. Oh, our immune system there becomes low. That's the problem. Okay, we are affected by this. That's why we need to know this more. Okay, do you have any questions so far? Questions, everybody? Can you hear me?
No.
Okay, I am now converting, again, I am using or converting these words into more understandable words. Okay, that is the reason behind. Simply because I want you to analyze on these conditions. I want you to analyze also on these terminologies, right? High peak season in the Philippines during the amihan season since it brings the best weather condition. The air is cool, there is less rain, and humidity is low, plus the sunshine is less threatening. Okay? Northeast monsoon contributes the colder Christmas nights, okay, which gives a better ambience fit for the festive season. Okay? On the other hand, habagat is the southwest wind characterized by frequently heavy rainfall and humid weather patterns. Okay? During southwest monsoon or hanging habagat, the high pressure area is at the Australian continent and the low pressure area is at the north, China, Mongolia, and Siberia. The gusty winds from west and excessive rainfall often turn into dangerous typhoons. So usually we have dangerous typhoons with hanging habagat. While the rain may ease farmers to irrigate the rice fields, and heavy rainfall may trigger floods, landslides, and potentially endanger residents living near riverbanks. The typhoons that Habagat brings unfortunately cause millions, sometimes billions worth of reconstruction, damage, and kill hundreds of Filipinos. Correct. Like the Bagyong Yolanda. Bagyong Yolanda is actually from Habagat. Okay. And it strengthened itself because it passes in the Pacific Ocean. That's the reason. Okay. Why do we need to know this? In order for us to prepare ourselves? In order for us also to explain the phenomenon. Yeah, that's the beauty of science. The southwest monsoon affects the country from late June to October. Again, occurrence may also vary each year. Low season in the Philippines occurred during the Habagat season because of the frequent rainfall and high humidity. A series of flash floods, landslides, are irregular incidents during this season. Climate change. Okay, let's move now to climate change and what are the effects of this and what are the causes of climate change. The Philippines are one of the world's most typhoon-impacted places or places. Okay, because we are actually located in the what? We are near the Pacific Ocean. Our climate here is what? We are near the equatorial line, so our climate here is tropical. Okay, there is a scientific consensus that anthropogenic greenhouse gas emissions are causing climate change, and that is contributing to stronger typhoons due to higher sea surface temperatures and higher subsurface sea temperatures, which remove the natural buffer on typhoon strength occasion when cold water upswells from below the ocean seafloor or ocean surface. Again, one of the reason, okay, is the greenhouse gas emissions. What are these greenhouse gas emissions? What are the greenhouse gases? One greenhouse gas is your chlorofluorocarbon, which is actually found in your aerosols, your sprays, okay? Your Baygon, your Lion Tiger, what else? Your cologne, it actually contains chlorofluorocarbon. All you have to do is to double check on the package if it contains chlorofluorocarbon. But usually, these aerosols contains chlorofluorocarbon. Emission of carbon dioxide, the burning of coal, um, the burning of trees. What else? The burning of garbages. It can cause actually a greenhouse gas, which is carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide. So it will actually go into the atmosphere and stay there for a longer period of time. Okay, those are few greenhouse gas emissions. The stronger typhoons, okay, carry more moisture, track differently, the pattern is different, move faster, and will aggravate by sea level rise. One of the most certain consequences of climate change. The Philippines, with its large and rapidly growing population, are vulnerable to strong typhoons. Okay, have you seen this one in the reports? Okay, this is actually a typhoon.